are live. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Blake Ruffino. This is Are You Serious Sports. We hope that you guys are making it a good one. We know that we are as well. Tigers win. Tigers win. You know, let me tell you something. Let your old buddy Blake tell you something. I know what you're going to come in here and say. Blake, we didn't hit well tonight. I get it. I get it. Oh, Blake, we got to do better to play this weekend and moving forward. I understand it. I'm with you. I got to tell you, man, it is really good to see Paul Skeens do what he did tonight. 15 strikeouts. Nate Ackenhausen coming into the eighth, getting out of that little jam. Then, ladies and gentlemen, you have found your closer. His name is Thatcher Hurd. His name is Thatcher Hurd. Sometimes this is when you know you have a really good team. When the bats are cold, you can go out there and perform. Your bullpen helps you out, and you have the best. I'm talking about the best frontline guy in the country. When Paul Skeens is on the mound, you feel more confident than anybody in the country. He is the real freaking deal. The real freaking deal. You love to see it because, man, look, this entire season, LSU at the plate has been the catalyst for you. You have hit massive home runs, which Trey Morgan must be the Auburn killer because he dominated tonight. Gavin Dugas hit by pitch. Then he gets the 2-run home run, has a couple of singles, looks really good at the plate. You struggle, but Tigers win. What a massive, and I'm talking about outright massive win here tonight. Dylan Cruz got a line drive. I mean, look, you got some hits in there, but Auburn out-hit you. Auburn out-hit you. And you found a way to win. You found a crucial way to win. So we got a lot to get into here tonight. Also, Aneesah Morrow commits to LSU. Somebody told you tomorrow. We'll get into that as well as LSU and Kim Mulkey not only bring in the #1 overall class in recruiting, they also bring in the top 2 players from the transfer portal and Haley Van Lith and Aneesah Morrow. So we'll touch on that after we talk about the game here tonight. Absolutely massive for the Tigers that you're able to bring in more talent. And look, you're going to be expected to run the table. Look, with great recruiting comes great responsibility and wins. Welcome to the show, as Kim would say. Welcome to the show. So we'll get into that as well. Let's get to a couple of these comments, though, because we got a lot of them flying in. Do us a favor by hitting the like and share. Share to all of those social media groups. Share to all of those social media pages. Edwin says next 2 going to be interesting. Congrats to the Tigers. The Real on YouTube says, yo, checking in from Twitter. Never miss a show. Thank you so much for tuning in with us, my man or lady. The Real, I mean, you could be a real. I don't know. John Butler on YouTube says, Tigers win. You could pucker up, put some lipstick on it, and kiss that baby goodbye in the first inning from Trey Morgan. Douglas says, South Carolina lost again tonight. Wow, yes, they did. Absolutely insane. To Kentucky. Let me pull that up. I forgot to pull that up. So they did. Tennessee is in the ninth. Actually, excuse me. That game just went final. Tennessee beats Georgia 12-3. South Carolina loses 7-3. Kentucky beats South Carolina 7-3. Ole Miss loses in a 10-run rule 13-3. Florida is up 1 in the bottom of the night to A&M. You know that what happened with LSU. Arkansas beats Mississippi State 6-2. And Vanderbilt. I guess this is this is game 2 because they played last night. Vanderbilt is up 4-1 in the bottom of the 8th to Alabama, who won last night, even though their head coach was a complete and utter Rudy Poo. Noah on YouTube says that boy Hurd is a closer that you found. And look, this happened 2 weeks ago, so we can get this rolling as well. So let's do this. Everybody do us a favor by hitting the like and share to all of those social media groups, share to all of those social media pages. If you're listening to us on YouTube, like, subscribe, notification bell. If you're listening to us on SiriusXM, the TuneIn app, or wherever you listen to podcasts, rate, review, and subscribe. So I completely forgot where I was going. Completely forgot. Y'all tell me, what was I saying? I forgot. I don't know why I forgot. But we can get into it. Eric says, so glad for the win. LSU gets out and get out hit and still wins. I'd like to see a star because it seems like Paul Skeens does not get much run. Look, you haven't seen this guy all year start. So we can get into it. Look, I know that you're, like I said to start off the show, and I will say this all night. Am I happy with what happened at the plate tonight? No, not really. Trey Morgan hits the home run in the top of the first. Top of the second, you go down in order. Bottom of the third, Milazzo grounds out. Dugas singles. Morgan flies out. Cruz singles, and White flies out. You come into the fourth, Beloso flies out, Thompson flies out, and Jones gets a walk. Pearson would fly out. You literally are getting shut out outside of the home run through 4. Top of 5, Milazzo would walk, Gavin Dugas would strike out, Trey Morgan would single, Dylan Cruz would hit one back to the pitcher, and then Tommy White would get an intentional walk, and Beloso would hit one back to the pitcher as well. This is what made Skeens fantastic because in the 5th, 6th, and 7th, he was out, absolutely lights out. He would strike out the side. He would give up a single to lead off the 5th, but he would strike out Green. He would strike out Stanfield, and then he would strike out Irish for his 7th, 8th, and 9th K of the night. But he just didn't get a lot of help at the plate, but he stepped up when you outright needed him. He comes into the bottom of the 5th. He strikes out the side yet again in order. Pierce goes down. McMurray goes down. Oh, excuse me. He does give up the double and then gets another K throughout all of this. So then he goes, and then LSU they cannot get anything together until Trey Morgan comes back to the plate in the top of the 7th. Milazzo would walk. Dugas would fly out to second. Here comes Trey Morgan, though, as he would get an RBI single into right center field. Cruz would fly out, and Tommy Tanks would strike out. Beloso in the top of the 8th would walk. Then you get a fly out to the pitcher. You would get Jones strike out, Pearson strike out, and then here comes Paul Skeens in the 8th, who had 14 strikeouts to start. He would get a strikeout. Then Nate Ackenhausen would come in, get a ground ball to Jordan Thompson, 6-3, and then he would get a strikeout. And then Thatcher Hurd comes in to the bottom of the 9th and absolutely shoves, getting 2 strikeouts, the last one on Foster. So look, I get it. You did hardly nothing. I mean nothing at the plate worth a damn. Outside of Trey Morgan, Dylan Cruz and Dugai only got a hit. Tommy White did not get a hit tonight, at least not what I marked down. The bottom of the order really, really struggled. As I don't even, I'd have to go through this, but I don't remember anything game-changing outside of Alex Milazzo getting a couple of walks and then getting on second, and then Trey Morgan driving him in. You did not look great. But I will tell you, this is what I was going to say. I will tell you, I said this in the beginning of the show, and I'm going to say it again. I'm not really worried about LSU at the plate, man. You're going to have these kind of nights. You're going to have these kind of days where the bats just aren't getting going, and you're going to need your stud ace to go out there and absolutely shove, and that's what he did with 15 strikeouts. He absolutely abused, to let's call it what it is, somewhat of a hot Auburn team who had won back-to-back series in the SEC. LSU gets their 8th SEC win in a row. I like seeing LSU in a low-scoring affair, being able to come out. Paul Skeens gives you everything he's got. You go to 2 arms out of the pen. One guy in Nate Ackenhausen, who got absolutely rocked last weekend. And then a guy who's been struggling all year long, and Thatcher Hurd, who, whatever Wes Johnson did for him, putting him primarily in the stretch, he has been, guys, I mean, over his last 3 appearances, he has been fantastic coming out of the pen. And here's the truth. I don't know if Thatcher Hurd goes tomorrow, but he could, because he is a guy that can be extended some. So for what it's worth, I really enjoyed tonight, even though it was a low-scoring defensive game. You don't give up an error. You don't give up a run. You look good defensively. You look good on the mound through 3 guys that you throw out there, because this game right now and tonight, mark this down, on the day of our Lord of Cinco de Mayo. Live la vida loca, she got dumps like a trunk. Trunk. Oh, wrong song. Or you could just say the thong song. You're going to have these type of performances. I like that you have some adversity in a low-scoring battle, that you can have confidence that the first game in the SEC tourney that you have a low-scoring game in, or that you go to Omaha and one of the guys in Omaha is absolutely shoving and you can't really get anything on them, that you can trust that your guys are always going to battle. I love to see it. Look, I know Dylan Cruz is an outright phenom. Might be one of, if not the best Tigers of all time. Paul Skeens is something different, man. He's something different. You've had a lot of great pitchers at LSU. Ben McDonald, Alex Lang, Nola, name them, Poche, you name them, you've had them. I'm just going to tell you right now, in my opinion, none of them. Maybe Ben McDonald. And even Ben would tell you this. Ben wasn't sitting 99-100 in the 8th inning. Right? They don't make dudes like this, man. They don't make dudes like this. What we are seeing is outright ridiculous. And even Ben has said, look, I was really good. I was the first overall pick. He gets it. Guys, I don't think people understand what we're seeing in Paul Skeens. Maybe it's a little recency bias for me. Maybe it's a little recency bias. I get it, and I will take the flack if I get some there. But, guys, tonight you needed him in the worst of ways, and he's going to be the SEC pitcher of the week. There's no question about it. Guys, he had 15 strikeouts tonight. I mean, he more than likely on a really good Pirates team right now, I might add, who they've sucked a lot in the past, but they're kind of hot right now. that dude's just so good. You go no wrong with either picking Cruz or either picking Paul Skeens. But tonight he was the dude. You know, we talk about this all the time. These positions in sports. Like we always talk about quarterback. We always talk about any position. You talk about point guard in basketball or point forward, whoever it might be. Pitching is the ultimate outlier to stopping people. Pitching always will be. A quarterback could have a really effective running game that gets them going. I guess you could say so can a pitcher with their offense. But if they can't score, if they can't really do anything off of you, then what? Did Paul Skeens get hit a little bit tonight? Yeah, gave up second pitch of the night. He gave us up a single to Sandfield. Doesn't matter. He just comes back out, gets a fly out to right. He gets a ground out to Jordan Thompson, strikes out McMurray, which, by the way, I might add, outside of Tommy Tanks, outside of Dylan Cruz, the McMurray kid from Auburn who, by the way, had a hat trick tonight on Paul Skeens. Skeens struck him out 3 times in a row, was arguably the hottest hitter in the country. He came into the SEC play hitting 380. 9 home runs in his last, 9 home runs in his last 9 games. Paul Skeens gave him the hat trick on Cinco de Mayo. Gave him that hattie because Paul Skeens is what you call a baddie. Pause. It's impressive, man. And Paul Skeens was, I mean, look, he had 15 Ks, but you go through the bottom of the third, or you start the bottom of the third, he's only got 2 Ks. I mean, it's not like he struck out the side in the first, struck out the side in the second. You're like, oh, man, he's going to have a lot of strikeouts tonight. No. He didn't really start getting rolling until the bottom of the third. K to start off, K to Stanfield, walk to Irish. He would strike out Pierce in 3 pitches. Guys, 3 pitches. He gives up a walk. He comes right back. Fastball. Bang. Guys, what we are seeing from him, it's ridiculous. He gave one of the hottest hitters in the country, McMurray, a hat trick on Cinco de Mayo. That fastball was living the vida loca all the way up to the plate all night long. Living the vida loca. Let me see that. Cinco de Mayo will now, if you're an LSU fan, be known as the day of Paul Skeens. Let me say that again. If you are an LSU fan, today is not going to be considered Cinco de Mayo anymore. It is known as the day of Paul Skeens. Scared the shit out of me. Did I jump? Did I flinch? Scared the shit out of me. Oh, and I already got a bad heart. Woo. Man, I'm stressed. I ain't gonna lie, man. I kind of got spooked. Anyway. Phil says that Wes Johnson is the guru. So let's go into the bottom of the ninth. Let's go to the bottom of the ninth here tonight. Look, man, we have been talking a lot. Jay Johnson went out to the transfer portal and got a kid from UCLA and Thatcher Hurd. We all know what's been happening. The young man went up there against Southern and got rocked, right? He's coming back from a really, really dangerous injury. His best performance of the season was legitimately against Texas early in the year. Ever since then, He's had bad performance out of bad performance. But Jay did not give up on him. And this is why in the middle, beginning, and even to the end, you just can't freak out when it comes to baseball. Thatcher Hurd's last 3 performances are appearances. I don't have all of the stats in front of me. I don't think he's given up an earned run. If he has, he's given up 1. 4 appearances ago for Thatcher Hurd, I had tweeted this and I said, I don't remember him starting the game off coming out of the stretch. No runners on. He hadn't even thrown a pitch. He's coming out of the stretch. And you know what? Shout out to pitching coach Wes Johnson. You know, Jay did something that nobody thought he could do. Go into Major League Baseball and still, arguably at the time, the best pitching coach in Major League Baseball. And whatever he has done to Thatcher Hurd, guys, you have a closer. By the way, if this game tomorrow, which, by the way, it's a late start, man. Late start. If this game tomorrow goes similarly, where it's a 3-0, 3-1, 3-2 game, you can go back to him. Thatcher Hurd's looked good. He's looked really good. And I know that Auburn has switched up their pitching. Their Friday night guy will go tomorrow. Sounds good. Outside of Paul Skeens, everybody in LSU's bullpen this weekend is available. It is just so massive. So massive that tomorrow night, if you absolutely needed Thatcher Hurd, he could go. Because if he's going to continue to have those type of outings, guys, I'm not going to try to overreact here, but if he is going to have those type of outings, if you could go into the 7th inning and you needed Thatcher Hurd to come in and he does what he's doing, guys, you're going to be really freaking unstoppable. Because, listen, don't take it from me. If talk to any scout in the country, and they will tell you, even when Thatcher Hurd was getting rocked on the mound, he's getting drafted because his stuff is just too filthy. Now, guys can't like the slider on the first K that he threw that wind up hitting the dirt. That guy was so fooled because Thatcher Hurd went fastball painted on the corner, change up on the inside that he didn't swing, slider in the dirt, and he was confused. So confused. He was more confused than Caitlyn Jenner going through menopause, which she can't do that. I'm probably going to get canceled for that one. I don't care. Nevertheless, massive outing. Rick on YouTube says Paul Skeens gave him the hat trick on Cinco de Mayo. He did. Cody said they should just Skeens the Pitcher of the Week award. Yeah, just make it the Skeens Pitcher of the Week award. Brandon Graziano says, show that replay, my boy Blake. Jumping. I was jumping, man. It scared the shit out of me. Man. Phil says, I'm biased, played, and grew up with Wes. Okay. Awesome. Glad to have you in here, Phil. Garrett says, great pitching tonight. Go Tigers. We all agree with that. Stephen Young, who played for the San Francisco 49ers, the lefty, says, if Hurd can keep this up, LSU can win in Omaha. No doubt. No question about it. Jeff says Blake Hurd had an ERA of 16.20 in SEC play before tonight. This is a testament of how Jay knows his players, and we should trust his judgment. We're still number one for a reason. Well, and look, I don't think we have. I just don't think that we've talked about Wes Johnson enough. Really and truthfully on my show, and this is criminal by me. Criminal by me. We have not talked enough about Wes Johnson. And I think a lot of it's had to do with some of the guys getting hurt in the UCLs and the questions that were given when he took over in Mississippi State. I get it, right? Like, I get it. He had those same battles. Didn't really have a lot of those same battles in Arkansas and with Minnesota, though. I get it. But, man, listen, you legitimately saw a guy in Thatcher Hurd damn near just absolutely transform. Call that man Optimus Prime because he's transforming right in front of our eyes. Call that man Optimus. Call him Bumblebee because all he's doing is transforming during the season. I don't know. I feel like I heard somebody. Hello? Ain't nobody supposed to be here. Somebody talking. Somebody comes in here and breaks in here. Y'all call the cops. y'all call the Tangipahoa Parish Sheriff's Office or Livingston Parish Sheriff's Office, whichever one. Make sure I got them cameras, but I hear somebody talking. All right. Just call the police. Debo says Bruce still got them cherries. I think he does. Pierce Lee says just shoot him, Blake. Got something right here. Never mind. I just texted my wife, and her Bluetooth was connected to the Alexa, and I texted her and said, "Baby, this is freaking me out. What's going on out there?" She's like, "I was wondering why I couldn't hear that video." I mean, I ain't gonna lie. I just heard some outside, like, yeah, like you just you rub this in your face. She's watching a makeup tutorial, and I'm like, wait, what? And she's like, put the lipstick on, but for those of you who don't know, my wife's a makeup artist, so she like watches makeup tutorials. Freaking me out. I'm like, man, this shit freaking me out. What's going on out there? All right, let's get back to it. Doug Note says, can't win unless you score, though, Rick. He said pitching beats hitting on most nights. Tonight was more proof. It's true. I mean, look, you're not going to keep LSU down from hitting all weekend. It's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen, guys. Look, is this one of the lowest score run totals that you've had all year? Yeah. Yes, it is. So I'm not worried about that. Adam B says, call an ambulance for them, not you. Yeah, you ain't going to need to call an ambulance for me. Jeff says, ask Blake, what's the record for Ks in a season for LSU? Skeen's going to push that record. I'll let so somebody in the chat go look that up for me. I don't know that, but I do think it is Ben McDonald. And Ben, like said the last time he was here, that he's worried about that. Josh Knoll on YouTube says Thompson probably needs to move to the 9-hole or 7-hole. Excuse me. Yeah. I'm with you there. I get what you're saying, but come on. I'm not gonna overreact to a one game stretch. Pierce Lee says you're in real trouble when you start hearing it's put the lotion on its skin, or else it's going to. All right. Jeffrey says 17 strikeouts by Big Ben. What was the season? I mean, I know Ben had over 200 in the season. I know John brings it up, but he's coming up to it, man. I mean, he's getting there. Eric says, yeah, I was a little shocked to see the TV or stats on TV during the game that LSU in the ninth in batting average. Hold on. I was a little shocked to see the stats on TV during the game that LSU in ninth in batting average in the SEC. Oh. Yeah, I'm not worried about that. I mean, because the key, I don't know if that's even accurate. I don't think that's accurate. Wiley Alexander on YouTube says it's good to know they can win a game like that. No doubt, Wiley, no doubt. He said, "What it takes to win a championship." You're spot on there, brother. Spot on there, man. I mean, and look, that's that. Even if nothing else really, like you don't learn anything new about your team this weekend, you learn something. You know, like you learned it a little bit. You learned it a little bit about Texas, right? Like you got some dudes that can do it. I mean, Texas is not a bad team, even though I like to rag on them a lot. They're not a bad team. And remember Gavin Dugai hitting the bomb in the ninth for you to win it. I just like every now and then that you can win and look, you can just win these very low scoring games. And Auburn, has not been a bad team over the last 2 weeks, man. Has not been a bad team. They are 6-2 over the last 2 weeks. 6-2. Well, 6-3 now, including tonight's loss. But they have been very, 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 very good. Very good. So, for what it's worth, now tomorrow, looking forward to tomorrow, guys. I have no idea what to expect. Zero idea of what to expect, because here's why. They switched up their pitching staff. Their Friday night ace is going tomorrow, and you got Ty Floyd on the mound. What Ty Floyd is going to stand up. Now, for what it's worth, Ty Floyd has not lost all season. He might have one of the worst ERAs in the country. Or not even the country, but in the SEC, from starting pitching aspect, doesn't matter. Does not matter. He's not losing. I just don't know what to expect. And if I'm Jay, I am telling all the hitters that will listen, guys, you got to get focused. You got to get back with it tomorrow. And look, Auburn has not been a bad team, man. Even in the pen, they have not been a bad team. They've had some very bad luck. They've come off some really tough weekends, and they're playing good ball. Not playing good enough ball because they didn't take down the Tigers tonight and Paul Skeens, who, guys, they struck out 17 of their 27 outs tonight. 17 of their 27 outs came from strikeouts. That makes you feel really good if you're a Tiger. All right, so we got two conflicting. Rick, that can't be Rick? That's not in a season. That's not in a season. There's no way that Scott Schultz had 409 strikeouts in a season. Ain't no way. I think that's got to be career. Because then Delton says Ben McDonald in 1989 had 202 strikeouts. Where's Skeens at now? I think it was at 124. I think he was at 124 tonight. So 15. So he's at 139. He's at 139. Pierce Lee says Dugas needs a good week off. I mean, Pierce, I disagree with that. I mean, Dugas hit a bomb in the midweek. He got a single tonight, and it's more than what anybody else did, not named Trey Morgan. Trey Morgan had all three of your RBIs, and one of the only other hits you got was from Dugas. I get what you're saying, but there's in no form or fashion am I taking Gavin Dugas out the lineup. No way. Absolutely no way. He got his week off when he fake separated his shoulder or whatever happened. Ain't no way. There's no way on God's and Rudy Poo hell, I'm taking out Gavin Dugas. No way. Ain't happening. All right, a couple more before we get to Aneesah Morrow, who committed today to LSU. Pierce Lee says, fair enough, just a thought. I'm with you. There's just no way. Aaron Miller says, Dugas just ties himself up at the plate, but can't take him out. No, and I mean, look, he was one of the big. I mean, guys, he got hit by the pitch to start off the game on the second pitch. Then I know that he strikes out, but then his third at bat, he hits a line drive in the left field. He's 1 for 3 on the night. I mean, he's not. Listen. I don't mean this in a wrong way. Tommy Tanks had a horrible night. Okay? Let's look at Tommy Tanks. And look, I don't care that he had a horrible night. The kid's going to hit still over 350. He'll probably end the season with 20-something home runs. He'll lead the country in RBIs. I don't care about him, tonight. But he grounded out to third. He would fly out to left. He would get intentionally walked, and then he would strike out, if I'm not mistaken. Then he would strike out. And that's his night. Gavin Dugas struck out. Let's see, Cruz. Cruz did not have a great night. He got a hit, but that was it. So I don't know what our expectations are, but I mean, look, they're not going to do that every night. Okay. Harold says yes on Morrow. We can talk about that. You know what I do need to do? Guys, don't leave. We got for radio and for TV purposes. We got to play and talk about our good friends over at BetOnline. Don't leave me. We got some really good stuff we got to talk about. Let's talk about what Kim Mulkey's doing, man. It's a big deal. Don't turn that dial tone. And if you do, come right back because I will find you. Back in 30 seconds. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way for you to wager on all of your favorite sports, contests, events with the first-to-market odds and lines. Find reviews for all the news for each league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, college sports, esports, and even golf. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all of your sports information for live in-game betting, props, and futures. Head on over to BetOnline today and use your mobile device to join and make your first sports bet. Use our promo code BELIEVE50, that's BELIEVE50, BLEAV 50, to receive your 50% off welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's betonline.ag, betonline.ag. We're back. 2 people left. I'm ashamed. Why can you do that? Delton says that Skeens is at 154. If he continues on the path that he is continuing down, he might. Let's just make, because what has he got? 2 more SEC weekends, right? Is it 2 more SEC weekends? So, I mean, he has a really good chance to not only pass Ben McDonald, but to absolutely shatter that record of 202 strikeouts in a season. Okay, so everybody does us a favor by hitting the like and share to all of those social media groups. In case you missed it today, massive news. Absolutely massive news for LSU women's basketball. It continues to happen every other week. If you missed it today, DePaul forward transfer Aneesah Morrow committed to LSU. Morrow averaged 25.7 points per game last year, 12.2 rebounds and 2 assists last season. So, Morrow is considered the second best player that entered the transfer portal behind, guess who? Haley Van Lith, who also committed to LSU. Guys, this lineup, the depth that LSU is going to have in women's basketball, quite honestly, is unparalleled. You know, there was a lot of people today when the news broke that LSU women's basketball has formed the college basketball version of the Dream Team. Now, I'm not going to go that far yet, but think about this. Flaugier, Van Lith, the number 1 overall recruit in the country, and an outright stud, Michaela Williams. Now Aneesah Morrow, who averaged, let's call it what it is, 26 points per game and 12 rebounds, tagged along with arguably the best player in the country in Angel Reese, who is a walking double-double. I want to feel, look, it's way too early, and injuries could always play a part of this. But LSU is going to be the number 1 team next season. This is what it looks like when a dynasty, a flat-out dynasty, is being built. I don't know how else you can summarize it. I don't think that there is a right vocabulary word. I don't think that anything in the English dictionary in Webster's dictionary that could describe exactly what Kim Mulkey and staff are doing. Guys, you could make the argument that you have the best point guard in the game. You could make the argument that you have the best 3 that's in the game, or at minimum, the most talented freshman in the country at the 3. You have 2 of the best forwards, not only at LSU, but in the entire country that are on your team. Oh, and by the way, LSU's got a pretty damn good bench. Kim Mulkey made it a point that when she came back, what she wanted to accomplish. Not only she did it in 2 years, she won a national title. But she went out and got the 2 best players in the country in the transfer portal. Some would argue 2 of the top 5 players in the country she went and got. Now she has 3 of them. A lot of comparisons have been made. The Fab Five, the Dream Team, whatever. I'm going to tell you what Kim Mulkey is going to tell you in the next press conference that you hear from her. We got a long way to go. She's not wrong. She is not wrong when she says that. And when you see teams like this that have come together with this much talent, the number 1 question always remains about their chemistry. Well, you had that discussion last year when you got girls out of the portal and Poole coming from Ohio State and Angel Reese coming from Maryland. And you know what happened? They got that damn chemistry down pretty damn quick. I think that this team, even though the interesting thing about this team and about Kim Mulkey and what she's building, welcoming everybody to the show, is it feels a lot like what we saw with Kirby in Georgia last year. They, for whatever reason, felt disrespected. Now, I don't think Georgia had a reason to feel disrespected. I mean, you were still considered the best team in the country. But when LSU won the national title, you got Jill Biden out there saying what she was saying, and I'm not getting political on that, but wanting to invite 2 teams to the White House. I mean, come on. You got Dave, the Rudy Poo Portnoy, when he's not firing Ben Mintz because he caved in like a little frat boy. But nevertheless, this team still feels very disrespected because of how they were treated after they won a natty. Aneesah Morrow is the tip of the iceberg on what Kim Mulkey's doing. By the way, she just got in her freshman class, she got a 6'6" center, 6'6" forward, who is an outright stud in her own right. I will tell you, when Scott Woodward hired Kim Mulkey, I didn't know what to fully expect. I knew that she would win a national title. I knew she would win multiple SEC titles. I didn't know that she would be doing it like this. And we've talked about this ad nauseum in the past, and I don't want to get a deep dive into it right now. But, man, how can you say you hate the transfer portal when this is happening to you? Girls aren't leaving. Girls are staying. And you're adding 2 of the best top 10 players in the country because they want to win a championship and they believe in your school. They believe in your team. And for what it's worth, I don't know if you saw this today, but the president of the university is in this recruiting process and making sure that he's doing everything that he can to recruit. And I will tell you, it is not just in women's basketball that they're doing that. I'm not going to tell you the recruit because the recruit is very standoffish. Luckily, he gave us this information for our website. But I will tell you this. There's a football recruit who really, and I'm talking about really talented kid. Okay? If I said his name, you'd be like, oh, damn. He wanted to talk about academics. And I know for an outright fact that William Tate was out there slanging the university about what they can do for him, the qualifications that he would have from an education from LSU. It's not just women's basketball, that he's out there making sports the front porch of this house, right? Like when you go up to the house and your first impression of it and you see the front porch is banging, you know the rest of the house is going to be like, damn, when you walk up in that thing. You know, like they got a mini bar. They got a bidet in that thing. They got gold plates, a marble going up the walls. They got chocolate and cheese fountains running everywhere. You know what? Mansions. Don't underestimate your president of that university, because everything I hear from kids, he's doing his damn thing. I did not know what I was supposed to expect from Kim Mulkey. I didn't think I was going to get this, though. I did not. I guess maybe because you just haven't seen something like this at LSU in such a long time. You know, the last time you really, really, really saw something like this happening, and I know that it's not necessarily comparable because Skip didn't have the portal. Man, is LSU women's basketball about to go on a Skip Bertman type of run? Now, I know what you're going to say, Blake, pump the brakes. I get that. But you cannot tell me. You're going to have to find a way to convince me. Who do you think beats Van Lith, Flaugier, Williams, Morrow, Reese? Because if you can find five girls that on any given night, now look, any given night, any given Saturday, any even given day, you can lose a game. You know that. I know that. I think you get what I'm trying to say. When everybody's on point, Caitlin Clark can't beat them. Caitlin Clark can't beat LSU. Not by herself, she can't. She better hit that portal and she better head her ass on to South Carolina. Because if she wants to win a natty, she ain't going to win it at Iowa. Point blank, she ain't. Better hit that portal, girl. And then when you do, you can come on down to Baton Rouge. Girl's good, man. Girl's good. She's a walking Steph Curry. She's a female Steph Curry. Look, I'm not saying that I coined that. I said that she was a walking Steph Curry 3 months ago. And then everybody says, she's a walking Steph Curry. Diaper dandy, baby. This means people listen to the show. Oh, and by the way, the bench is ridiculous. Guys, your bench is just absolutely ridiculous. It's filthy. Now, got a long way to go. A long way to go. Got a lot of communication, a lot of chemistry that's got to get built here. But if there's any coach on this campus that can make it happen, it's Kim Mulkey. You've had a lot of great coaches that have graced their presence in Baton Rouge. Skip. I'm not going to say Dale because I refuse to. Because if I start going down that way, I'll get mad and start wanting to talk about the court. So I'm not going to do that. You've had Skip, Saban, Miles, Orgeron, Kelly. Whether you like any one of them or not doesn't really matter to me. They're winners. They are winners. Maneri. Look what Jay's doing. You've had winners here. You have winners here. I don't know if any of them are outside of Skip. I don't know if you could say that any one of them's doing what Kim's doing. Guys, think about it like this. And I'm not exaggerating when I say this. It's like Nick Saban right now, or Nick Saban 3 years ago, getting a guy like Caleb Williams or Drake May that hit the portal, and they're going to Alabama. That's like a Jamar Chase hitting the portal and going to Alabama. It's kind of like a little bit what Brian Kelly's already doing. I know, Blake, you shouldn't say that. Shouldn't say that, Blake. Don't say that. I don't disagree with this. We'll get to a couple comments. Dan Reeves says Jay Johnson is doing it well too, brother. I agree. Where did I say he wasn't? Harold says, can these girls make more in NIL than in the WNBA? Look, man. Look. Did y'all see that Aneesah, her commitment video was an NIL deal? Brilliant. It made me think. Look, I'm going to be honest with you. It made me think. How much I got to give a kid to do an NIL deal to commit to LSU? What I got to do? Because I'm going to tell you right now, if you got a kid that has an LSU offer, if you know a kid that has an LSU offer, tell them to holler at us. and they have a committable offer. Tell them to holler at me. Swamp Donkey says it's amazing that LSU baseball has won 8 straight SEC games, and we over here shouting out women's basketball. Go freaking Tigers! Well, Swamp Donkey, I don't know how long you've been in here, but we talked about college baseball or LSU baseball for 40 minutes. I mean, we spent 40 minutes on LSU baseball, and you know what's crazy? Look, man, I told you guys this before. Like, I think I do. I do like 4 or 5 radio spots a week, and all 5 of them, every time I talk, like go on there, they were like, Blake, how much you talk about baseball last night on your show? I was like, probably 40 minutes. They're like, what? Like other fan bases, like, you know who you guys listen to. You listen to us. You listen to, like any other guy that, any of the guys at 104.5 or Jordy or who I know I'm from Scarborough, Trent, whoever you listen to, you know who you listen to on a day in, day out basis, right? These other fan bases don't talk baseball like we do. They don't, because they're losing money if they're talking baseball. Some of them you can, like Arkansas you can. I know Texas you can. Gainesville you can. Some of them. The rest of them you can't. Like I had a radio spot in Tennessee this week, and two in Tennessee this week. And the dude that I was on with, not Bill King, but the other one, he was like, Blake, I can't do that. I can't do that. Richard Head on YouTube says, absolutely. If these players get along and share the ball, all the stuff a team needs to do. No doubt. No doubt, Dick. No doubt. Douglas on YouTube says that would be crazy. What would be crazy? Father Abear was one of us. Was Father Abear. Says Jesus and the Archangels. That's the only team that beats this women's basketball team. Could be made into a movie like Space Jam. Now everybody down and do it back down. Welcome to the Space Jam. All right. Throw your hands in the air if you feel fine. You were gonna take it in the overtime. Welcome to the Space Jam. Oh, let me get back to Harold's comment right quick. My bad, Harold. Yes. I got so ADD, ADHD there. Yes. You can make more money with NIL than you do the WNBA. I mean, guys, Angel Reese is making more money right now than she'll probably make in the WNBA. I mean, guys, she got a $75,000 car this week. $75,000 vehicle. Pierce says NIL can double that quick or even more. No doubt. I mean, there's no telling how much Van Lit's getting from Adidas, which I don't know if y'all saw that this week, that LSU is going to allow her to continue to do things with Adidas. I think she's got to do some stuff for LSU with Nike. I don't know how that's going to roll. Maybe they'll let her wear her Adidas shoes. I think Nike, I think these, LSU obviously has the Nike deal. I think for basketball, a lot of these companies, now I could be wrong, so y'all can bean count me on this all you want to. I could be wrong. But I have heard of some of these companies that are saying, like, look, if we give a girl a deal, can we all just like work here and like let Van Lith wear the Adidas, and then if there's an Adidas school, if Nike signs a girl, that they can do it, which I think is cool, man. Like I think it's cool, like, because if Haley Van Lith is making $50,000, $60,000, $100,000 from Adidas, right? She shouldn't be penalized for the school being a partner with Nike, because she's not partnering with Nike. Now, I get the jersey and all that, and that's fine, but let's not fight over semantics, right? Like, let's not fight over semantics. Brandon Reese says the starting five will look crazy next year. I agree with that. Stephen Fry says Blake are good friends over Fry Construction. Oil and gas services, dirt, construction, they do it all. They're out there in units. So Fry Construction, let them know that you're good friend, you're a good buddy. Send them by, like I said, site work, oil and gas, commercial construction, aggregate and soil hauling, waste containers, demolition. Give them a call today. They're out there in units. Let them know that your good buddy Blake sent you on by. But he says, Blake, guess what celebrity in the Rudy Crew chat is marrying me on September the 1st? Why don't you let us know? Let us know. Fitzpatrick Pitts. He says he loves Jesus and that Dawn is cray. Talking about Dawn Staley. They got a girl today, the number one player in JUCO. They got a girl today. Abby Bay on YouTube says Kim Mulkey is like the Wolf of Wall Street. She's telling the coaching staff to pick up the phone and quit and keep recruiting. It's true. Kept up the phone and keep dialing. Delton says South Carolina fans already saying they're going to win it all next year. Well, they said it this year too. Till Caitlin Clark went out there and beat that ever-living behind. Bad baby, bad baby, bad baby, bad baby. Adrian Bailey says she will still wear LSU Nike apparel, but off-court promoted is. Okay, there you go. There you go. Pierre says, Flaugier is already with Puma, so it shouldn't be a big deal. Yeah, you know what I mean. I mean, look, man, we'll see. Uh-oh. Jason says McMahon must be feeling the heat with all other major sports being successful, and men's basketball needs to turn it up. I can't. He's not wrong there, y'all. He's not wrong there. I just hope Matt has some I really hope that Matt succeeds, man. He's such a good dude. You talk to him for 5 seconds. He's a good dude, man. Debo the God on YouTube says, do the Lady Tigers have more spots available? I'm sure they will. They would. I seen somebody bring up Ashley Owuzu. She's a center, and I think from Virginia Tech. Well, you'd make room for her. You'd make room for her. And Brimma says, greeting from West African. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us. Good sir. Andersley says, I say Kim gets at least 3 titles. Man, she gets 3 titles. She's the best. Let me tell you something. If she gets 3 titles, I just don't think that there's anything that is going to be I just don't think there's going to be anybody that can do what Skip did. I know times are different, but if she gets 3, I mean, in my opinion, in my opinion, if Kim Mulkey goes to a Final Four, she is, for what it's worth, probably the second best coach in LSU's history. More than Saban, Orgeron, Miles, all of it. And look, Kelly, no telling what Kelly can do. No telling what Jay's going to do, man. It's just so – let me just – because I know we're wrapping up here. It is just so – I want to curse so bad, but it's just so freaking nice. It feels so good to have a competent AD that can bring in sharks and big game hunters to take down these sons of guns. God, it feels good to be a freaking winner. You know, what's crazy, man? Here's what's nuts. What's so nuts to me is the last 3 years in LSU sports really sucked to some degree. Take out the national title, take out LSU winning the West in football. It just really freaking sucked. Sometimes. Like the Will Wade saga, the Orgeron thing, you know, his girlfriend's titties flopping out on social media. Everybody saw those pictures. Everybody in Louisiana knows what those titties look like. You know, so, and that's just so embarrassing, man. And I am so utterly glad that Alabama is wearing it on the chin right now. It's relieving from an LSU fan's perspective, right? It feels good. Now, I don't condone anything of that. And I should be careful in even saying that, because one person in that whole situation died from something foolish. Everybody's blaming Brandon Miller. And then the facts came out of him legitimately pulling up, stopping, a guy getting an overnight sleeping bag out of the back seat that was all zipped up, and then Brandon Miller driving off. They said, oh, he pulled out the gun out of his glove compartment. No, he didn't. The video said that he pulled up. The guy looked like he got a knapsack out, like an overnight bag, like what you used to grab when you go and spend the night at a buddy's house. Just feels good. Yes, I see your comment. Yes, I shouldn't have said titties on the open air, but it's 10 o'clock on a Friday. If you're around kids and they're hearing me talk about Orgeron's girlfriend's titty flopping out, which my wife knows who that is, but I don't care. You're the one who sabotaged stuff. So you're the one that started it all anyway. Just feels good to be a winner. All right, a couple more before we get out of here. Doug No says that she won't pass Gino Auriemma. It's so much harder these days to do what he did. He pulled the skip. Well, let me say this. If she wins 3 here and she's won at two places, something that Gino can't say. Something Gino can't say. I only run, or Toss Dive on YouTube says, Mulkey trying to pass Gino before it's said and done. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't think she's passing Gino. She'd have to be here a while, which she probably will, but she'd have to go on an unprecedented run. Debo says, I can't lie. I think the 05 LSU Tigers, Lady Tigers, that is, team was better than this championship squad. Yeah. This team just started to become the top tier team. This is building the foundation. We were supposed to be there. Yeah, I don't know about that. That 05 team ain't never faced anything like Clark, though. Well, Blake, they had this. Blake, they had that. Caitlin Clark's a different story. Y'all know that, and I know that. I don't know about that, man. They won a natty. That makes them the better team. I probably shouldn't say that. Because I shouldn't say that. Because that 11 LSU Tigers team, look, let me tell you this. That 11 LSU Tigers team, when they were right, they were right. One of my biggest regrets of all time, man. Not regrets, but disappointments, I should say. All right, 2 more, then we're out of here. Or 3 more. Doug Knows says nobody can say they won a natty at 2 schools. She's already owns that title. Yeah, that's a big deal, man. It's a big freaking deal. Harold says all of the positive things from baseball, basketball, and the great news for everything LSU. And look, look, I don't know why people aren't more excited about this upcoming football season. All right. Let's get out of here. We'll see y'all Sunday. No show tomorrow. Rafino and Joe show. We're doing an exclusive interview that we'll be airing. We'll let you know about that. All right, guys. See y'all Sunday. Peace.